What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here with some NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for tonight's single game showdown slate, Thursday Night Football, Los Angeles Chargers, Kansas City Chiefs. Here to give you everything you need to crush tonight's slate. Welcome. I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, single game $1 million winner. And what we do in these videos is we talk about the injuries that impact the slate, low risk and high risk lineup construction tips, some mispricings. There are a couple tonight that you need to know about, and just some general tips to help get you to the top of those contest leaderboards. Now, the video is only 7 to 10 minutes long, really quick hitting. If you want full, in-depth information, make sure you check out the links in our description, our daily plug, our Occupy model, our lineup builder at occupyfantasy.com. And before we get started here, make sure you subscribe to the channel, get notified when we go live, upload any new videos. We do these showdown previews every Thursday and Monday. We have the main slate previews on Friday. Our weekly reviews, our lineup reviews, and in-depth discussions are on Tuesday nights, the $1 Million Mission. And then we do our live Q&As on Saturday afternoons. So lots of content. Just make sure you subscribe. If you like it, give us a thumbs up. We appreciate it. It helps the channel. If you have any questions, comment on the video below. We'll get back to you before the slate starts tonight. Or more importantly, just join our Discord server, occupyfantasy.com/Discord. Links in the description to chat with other members of the community. So let's jump into it. And two big injuries. Well, really just one big injury tonight that you need to know about. The first one is Harrison Butker, the kicker. He is out. Matt Amendola will do the kicking duties for Kansas City, so please do not roster Harrison Butker tonight. The big one that impacts the slate fully is Keenan Allen, who injured his hamstring in week 1 in the opener against the Raiders, did not return, and he's going to be out tonight. So that leaves us with Mike Williams as the wide receiver 1 for LA. And we scroll down, we have Joshua Palmer and DeAndre Carter as the 2 and 3. Now, if this was 10 years ago, DeAndre Carter would be way higher owned tonight than Joshua Palmer. But as an industry, everyone is sharper. The information is out there. And everyone's going to be on Joshua Palmer tonight. Now, Palmer has the higher pedigree. People are really excited about rostering him in season long this year. And despite scoring just 3.9 DraftKings points last week compared to 15.4 for Carter, the underlying metrics point to Palmer being the guy as the wide receiver 2. He doubled the snaps of Carter last week, 50 to 25, and he ran more routes, 25 to 14, than Carter. So Palmer at just 5K as the wide receiver 2 on a high-octane offense in a high total game in what should be a shootout is going to be extremely popular tonight. Carter will get some too, but Palmer is going to be the most popular guy in this price range for sure. And if you go over to FanDuel, Palmer is actually just 7K, right? So even cheaper over there, all things considered. Now let's go back. The Chargers will also have Jalen Guyton tonight. He's $1,200 on DraftKings. And they'll probably call up somebody from the practice squad. I'm recording this Thursday morning, but keep an eye out this afternoon for any call-ups from the practice squad. They have a couple receivers. You know, if you played preseason, you know some of the guys on their preseason or their practice squad. So be on the lookout for that this afternoon to be their wide receiver 5. So the other mispricing that we have to talk about is on the Chiefs side. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 22.4 DraftKings points last week. He scored the 2 touchdowns. I think a lot of people were excited that he got in the end zone twice and looked great doing it. And I think a lot of people will think he had the stranglehold on this backfield. But it's not completely true. And while he did, you got to remember, first of all, that this game was a blowout last week, right? Isaiah Pacheco, who, if we scroll down, got in the end zone, 60 yards, 12 carries, 12.2 DraftKings points. Most of his work came in the second half. In the first half, we had the number of opportunities. CEH had 9. Jerick McKinnon had 5, and Pacheco had just 2, right? So while CH did get in the end zone twice, he wasn't hogging all of the touches and snaps. McKinnon got a decent amount too, and if this game is a shootout and closer, it's possible we see McKinnon get even more snaps tonight. And at just 2,600 on DraftKings, McKinnon is extremely underpriced. Now, is he going to lead the slate in scoring? No, but at 2,600, he can be extremely useful, especially in low-risk contests, because he's going to get on the field, he's going to catch passes, and that's a lot for a $2,600 player. And if we look over on FanDuel, he's even cheaper, $6,500. So these two guys, Palmer and McKinnon, are extremely underpriced, and they help you fit in a lot of these stud players, especially in low-risk contests. Now, if you've watched these videos before, you've read our showdown guide, you know we talk about how we try to lock up all the scoring in low-risk contests, rostering both quarterbacks, rostering both running backs. But in a slate like this, where the backfields are kind of split, we'll talk about the LA backfield here in a second, really you want to play values when there are extreme values. And we do have that, and we have Palmer, and we have McKinnon on both sites. So that's the low-risk strategy tonight, getting McKinnon and getting Palmer in, and then figuring out the rest. Where's Palmer? Here he is. 67.50 per player if you captain Mahomes, or if you put Mahomes in the flex, now you have a really open lineup. So consider that McKinnon and Palmer are the keys to low risk contests tonight. Now, speaking of this LA backfield, it's very interesting, right? So we have Eckler. He was a first round draft pick, scored 1 million touchdowns last year, great in the passing game, right? If we look last week, just 11.2 DraftKings points, may just chalk it up to just a bad week. Things happen, right? But if we look, he played 33 snaps last week. Joshua Kelly, the backup, played 18. Sonny Michel, who they signed late in the offseason, late in the preseason, 16 snaps. And what's interesting, if you go over to the Athletic here, love reading the Athletic articles by their beat reporters, just 49% of the snaps. He only had less than 58% in 2 games all of last year, and that was when he was dealing with an injury. And it's like, oh, is this the fluke or what? But if you look at what Eckler was saying in the preseason, what the coach is saying after the game, that 49% isn't horrible, right? Like, this might be the new norm for Eckler. And yeah, with Keenan out, with his passing game involvement, his goal line work, he can still get there. Was he a super safe, low risk play? Not necessarily. Does he have the crazy high ceiling that he had last year if he's only going to play half the snaps? Not as much. So it takes a shine off Eckler a little bit, and I think people probably won't catch up as quickly if this turns out to be the case. So just keep that in mind as you're building lineups tonight. Again, if he plays half the snaps, he can get there. We've seen Alvin Kamara do it in the past. We've seen Eckler do it in the past, right? But it does lower his floor and ceiling combo if he's not going to play 60, 70% of the snaps anymore. So just keep that in mind. All right, let's talk about high-risk contests for a second. And low-risk contests, we got the extreme values. We play those guys. High-risk contests, because this game is expected to be close and tightly contested and high scoring and values on both sides of the ball. If you look at what the optimal lineups are, what the field is going to do, there are going to be a lot of lineups that are 3-3 in nature. What does that mean? 3 Chiefs, 3 Chargers, right? A very balanced attack. Pick a value from one side, maybe both sides. Got to get in Mahomes and Herbert, Kelsey and Eckler, William, whatever it is, right? It's going to be very balanced because the spread is tight, the total is high. So we're going to see a lot of balanced lineups. If we go over to FanDuel, we're going to see a lot of 3-2 type lineups. 3 Chargers, 2 Chiefs, 3 Chiefs, 2 Chargers, right? And that is how the field's going to build. And when we have a slate, we've seen a couple of these so far this year. We saw a lot last year, where we have very predictable lineup construction, stack types on what the field's going to do. The easiest pivot in high-risk contests is simple. It's just don't play that stack type. Play an onslaught for tonight. 4 Chargers and 2 Chiefs, 5 Chiefs and 1 Charger, whatever it is. 4-1 on FanDuel, right? The most likely is 3-2, but the 4-1s are going to be way less played, and you have a better chance in high-risk contests of a unique first-place finish. And it's less resistance. So play for either a blowout or some of the values don't get there on either side. That's how the 4-2s, 5-1s types lineups get there. We saw this on Sunday night. The game was closely projected as far as spread goes. The Bucks and the Cowboys end up being a Bucks onslaught that won it. So these are, and we saw, I think it was a solo first place finish on DraftKings. So we see when these types of lineups hit what they can do for you. So that's the first thing I thought of tonight. The second thing is just think of some of these other values. Everyone's going to play McKinnon. Everyone's going to play Joshua Palmer. Who are pivots in this range that you cannot play them instead? They're good plays. Let's not get us wrong. But again, so it's a one sample size of a football game. Anything can happen in one game. How can Everett outscore Palmer, Carter, even Pacheco, right? How can these guys outscore him? Who can outscore Jarrett McKinnon if he doesn't get in the end zone, doesn't get a ton of catches? Easy, right? And lots of guys out here who are going to play at least 10 to 20% of the snaps. Guys like Sky Moore, guys like Joshua Kelly, even guys like Jalen Guyton tonight. So the pivots are always key. We saw it in the very first slate of the season, that Thursday night opener, right, with James Cook versus Zach Moss. These are the types of things you should be looking for, trying to teach you from a high level how to analyze your own showdown slates. But don't worry, we'll be here every Monday, every Thursday. But for those Sunday night prime times, for those Sunday afternoon games, these are the types of thought exercises you can use to help think about how to build your lineups. All right, so that'll do it for this video. Appreciate you listening. As always, of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel, get notified when we go live, upload these videos. Give us a thumbs up if you like it, helps the channel, lets us know that you appreciate the work. And any questions, comment on the video. Happily, we'll answer them throughout the day. I'm around all day. If you want an in-depth answer, join our Discord, occupyfantasy.com/Discord. Chat with us, chat with staff, other members of the community. It's all a great time. Come sweat out the game tonight with us. So, Brian Jester, Occupy Fantasy. Thanks for listening, and good luck in tonight's Chargers and Chiefs single game showdown slate.